Let's do a Steam market analysis to see if my game Witchmore is going to make any money or not. The goal is to get a very rough, hand-wavy sales estimation for Witchmore to see if the game can recoup its costs. We're going to discuss how much Witchmore costs to make, how much comparable games make on Steam. Then we'll compare the numbers to see how f***ed I am. So a little bit about this method. This comes from Ryan Clark's Clark Tank videos, articles by Chris Zukowski, and also Jake Burkett. I'll put links to all that stuff in the description, also on Valadria.com. Let's get started with the basics and take a quick look at my game Witchmore on Steam. So this is Witchmore. It's an indie action roguelike-ish kind of game. You're a witch in the woods. It's got hand-drawn graphics. You know, whatever. I know you know about the game by now. Check it out. Please do wishlist it on Steam. Steam wants to know what games Witchmore is like, so it knows which players to show it to, and Steam players want to know which games Witchmore is like, so they know whether or not they want to play it. I'm arbitrarily picking 2 games as my main comparables. That's Brotato for the art style, and Bone Razor Minions for the kind of approach to having a party-based combat system. So here's the spreadsheet of relevant Steam games. I got this list in 2 primary ways, one of which is you just go to Steam and look for the games like this. So here I'll search for Brotato. Here we go. And then down here, more like this. You can click into see all. And here's a bunch of relevant games to check out. That's one way. The other way was I found a YouTube compilation. It had maybe 50 to 100 different games in this genre. And you can see down here, I've got about 80-ish games in the spreadsheet. And I know there's way more than that on Steam now. So what we've listed here is the game, the developer, the number of games by that developer, so we have an idea of how comparable we are to that dev. Then the art style, which is very relevant, whether or not it's an early access, whether or not it has a demo, when it came out, the price it came out at, or at least when I recorded the price, the overall review summary, the number of reviews, and then the box leader number, which is kind of a way to estimate sales based on the number of reviews. And then from that, we can guess the lifetime revenue. Lastly, the URL, so I can get back to that page if I want to check it out, and then some notes if relevant. So you can see from these games, I'm looking at that sort of bullet heaven, casual action, roguelike genre. I don't know what to call it, but they're very indie. And you can see from this chart, they're mostly 2D and mostly 2D pixel art. And the price point is very low. Very few games go above $10. A lot of games are $1. Most games are $3, probably because they're following in those footsteps placed by Vampire Survivors, which started at $3 and went up to $5. And then not surprisingly, a lot of games are $5. If it's at that price or below, you can always just say, look, it's $5. Once you go above that, it's harder to use that particular argument of just, it's fine. And then again, not surprisingly, most games are in early access. So the first thing I want to do is refresh this list. I think it was last updated 4 months ago, a little outdated. So we're going to get new numbers, and then, so 20 minutes till dawn, we're starting with a genuine indie hit here. Back when I looked at it, it was in early access, and it still is. It was $5, and it still is. It's on sale right now. Still very positive. Way more reviews, though. Wow. This thing's selling like hotcakes. I would just like to say I would be very happy if my game made $1.4 million on Steam. Life goals. All right, let me pull this. I've got too many browsers going. So this is a Clumsy Flight. Still early access. Still $5. Let's go see what's happened to the sales. 56 reviews has turned into 61. Army of Ruin has tripled its sales since I last checked. Very impressive. Beautiful Mystic Survivors is an interesting one. Recent reviews are mixed. I'm curious to go see why that would be. Still selling very strong. It's had hundreds of reviews since I last checked a few months ago. Respectable sales. Let's take a quick peek at the reviews to see what the complaint is and see if it's something we can avoid. I like the game, one of the better Survivor games out there, so why the thumbs down? Yeah, why the thumbs down? The publisher devs decided to release a new not safe for work version of the game instead of a DLC. Now you have to buy the same game twice if you want the upgraded version. Issues and bugs, controller support's not fully working. Oh, I got that going in Witchmore. Lack in optimization. I struggle with that. Yeah, I think the Survivors games, the players really expect there to be a lot of hidden content going on. Good sales though, I mean, they can recover from that. It's interesting to see them making a second SKU for some reason. That one's still not out. I'm very interested to look at Bone Razor Minions because it is high on my list of games that I think are super similar to Witchmore and vice versa. I mean, this game's really polished, looks nice. Beautiful palette. I love the retro aesthetic. Let's see how it's sold in the last few months. Still overwhelmingly positive. That's hard to get. Good for them. Whoa, the reviews have more than doubled. 3,010. $234,000 on Steam. Estimated, probably way off. It could make over $1 million in its lifetime. Undeniable success in my eyes. Bone Razor Minions. I wish I made it. Bounty of 1. Looks like it has about doubled its sales. Very cool. 1,327 reviews. $106,000. I would be very happy with that. Lifetime revenue, $500,000. Good job. Good job, devs. Good job, Optizunion. Here we go. Main comparable game number 2 is Brotato. I'm not going to pretend like I'm going to make $2.34 million with Witchmore. That'd be great. And so Brotato is quickly becoming a game I shouldn't even look at because it's just it's in the stratosphere. But the art style I think is similar to what I'm doing with Witchmore. Whoa, 30,000 reviews. Wow, that game could make over $10 million in its lifetime. That's amazing. Good job, Bob. Blobfish, way to go. Crimson Land selling very well. High price point too. That's like, yeah, Nuclear Throne pricing. Must have a ton of content. Looks nice. All right, Cult of Babel, definitely in the genre. I see mixed reviews. Let's go find out why. Needs a lot more work. Okay. So probably needs more content and polish, I would guess. Similar to 20 minutes, if you're not completely tired of these games yet. Oh man, I really should have launched Witchmore last year. Needs a lot of work. Dash has no dodge. Deadly Harvest. First Steam game by my friends Nick and Natalie. Good job. Okay, Just King. Here's one. It's not super on my radar, but I think it's fairly comparable to Witchmore. And $60,000 in a little under a year is not terrible. Lifetime revenue of $300,000. I would consider that a success. So let's take a peek. Colorful and cute. Very simple. It is still in early access. It does have a demo. Nice gifts. Good Steam page. Windows only. Interesting. Too slow. Slow. Okay, here's an interesting one. Nordic Ashes Survivors of Ragnarok wasn't out, I believe, when I first made this list, so we can start to add some things here. Yeah, I think I made this list in November, so a month later this game launched. So let's see. $4.99. Reviews are very positive. Number of reviews is, wow, 1,528. Making the new box leader $118,000. Making lifetime revenue $590. Nice. You know you're entering a crowded genre when there's a game called Soul Survivors and another one called Soul Stone Survivors. Soul Stone Survivors is another one of these games I'm not even really looking at seriously because it's such a big hit. It's not even worth comparing. I'll never be able to catch up. Ooh, it's already made 1.5 million on Steam. Good job. Oh, Spellbook Demon Slayers was one of the first ones I looked at. It's doubled the reviews since then, but it's looking like it's currently, or recent reviews are mixed. So let's take a look to find out why that would be. Great looking capsule. Oh, I gotta add that Discord link to Witchmore. Good looking Steam page, that's nice. So what don't people like about it recently? I think that's a big problem with the slow follows of Vampire Survivors, like a lot of us are trying, is that, I mean, for one, it's been a while since its launch, but also like Vampire Survivors is a dense, well-crafted, content-rich game. It's actually really hard to follow. Spirit Hunter's Infinite Horde is gorgeous. Look at these graphics. What's interesting, though, is I feel like 5 or 10 years ago even, the animation would be a requirement to have this kind of a high-polished feel. Like, it almost feels like games such as Vampire Survivors carved out space. Let me maximize this. Look at this. Like, okay, their arms are moving a little bit. I saw one character that had like no... Okay, the jaw is moving. Some tweening. Wait, maybe it was those... Anyway, like, I think that there is some kind of minimal animation that comes along with these sorts of games. Like, the players don't care if it's well animated. They care if there's lots of crazy crap flying around the screen and tons of stuff to unlock. That's what I'm getting. Okay, here's another one, Star Survivor, because last time I looked, I had pretty much no data. I guess it was unreleased, so let's take a look. Released March 2nd, just about a month ago. It is early access. It's $5. Very standard things here. Reviews are very positive. 187 reviews, which puts the box leader at 15,000. Pretty good. Tiny Rogue's been selling like hotcakes. $250,000 made on Steam. That is attainable. Let's take a closer look at Tiny Rogues and see what they're doing right. Great logo. I love the sword in the eye. Little touches like that I think players notice. Pairing the blue with the yellow and the orange was complementary colors. They contrast, they really draw the eye. First game from this dev, that's very encouraging. It is in early access. It's just $5. Actually, theirs is $6 normally. It's on sale. Good looking Steam page. Charming, immediate, and engaging. Great difficulty scaling, so some good balance work behind the scenes. Ooh, look at that. One of the games that I actually feel like I should have paid more for. High praise. I don't have the game. Okay, I think Tiny Rogues... Wait, did I play this? I own it. I've played so many of these games recently. I'll keep that one in mind. That one's... I think I'm going to promote that one to be one of the primary ones that I look at. One of my primary comparables. Now I've got 3. Here we go. Vampire Survivors. The BAFTA-winning game. Yeah, check out my note here. Phenomenon. Data should be ignored. What a story. What a hit story. Okay, so since I checked, there's no point in even doing this. Since I checked in November, it had 155,000 reviews. Now it has 180,996 reviews. Okay, the box leader estimation is basically just another $2 million in 4 months. Oh man, this game is killing it. Estimated lifetime revenue, $71 million on Steam, and what I've heard is that for every platform, every major platform a game is on, like Switch or PlayStation, it's about comparable revenue. I don't know from firsthand experience because I haven't launched on platforms, but that's what I hear. So Uncle could be a billionaire in their lifetime. Wow. Yeah, I'm not even going to analyze that one. I'm going to remove it from the list. 2 games called Zombie Survivors. So this one I probably will remove from the list. It's kind of an odd one. I included it not because it's the same kind of game, so I shouldn't even look at it probably because Steam won't recommend it to players probably, but I wanted to look at it as a game in the kind of witch theme. People who like witchy life story might like Witchmore. I mean, the kind of prequel to Witchmore was Witchy, a game jam game I made. And, you know, if you want witchy stuff, you want to grow some plants and you want to like curse somebody or make a love potion or something, like Witchmore is going to scratch a lot of those itches. So I'm including Witchy Life Story in my studies, but I probably won't include it in my number crunching. So we have 78 games, it looks like. 77 games minus these two columns. So I would like to get another dozen or two, and I know they're out there. Maybe I'll take a quick peek and see how many I can grab and add to this list real quick, just to flesh it out a bit. Okay, Ember Knights is in the genre, but I feel like for one, it starts off with, it's a 1 to 4 player co-op game, which I'm not ready to commit to that yet. And then this is also really highly polished. I don't think I'm gonna bother looking at it because this is a bar too high for me to hit. Okay, now we're talking. Time Wasters, let's add this one. Although I will say about Time Wasters that whatever these devs have done, I don't think I can get $30,000 in a week or 5 days. Although, I mean, a Wizard's Lizard had a very brief period. I don't know. Okay, never say never, but I want to look at these devs a little bit more because I think where those strong 5-day sales are coming from is probably they have a following based on their previous games. Oh wow, there's a big gap here. So they made 2 games in 2014, 2015. 60 grand. And oh, a free-to-play game. Okay, hard to tell. Not really applicable. And then 5 years later, they made Time Warpers, which looks very nice, and it made did pretty well. 152K. Okay, so yeah, they've basically built a following for a while. But this is all attainable. I don't think this is this isn't a phenomenon. So like, wow, look at these crazy sales. I'll never be able to approach these. This is impressive but doable. So I think it's worthy of being on the spreadsheet. Okay, so now we're going to massage this list a bit. We're going to remove a bunch of games that aren't as applicable, and we're not going to look at them. So right off the bat, 20 minutes till dawn. It's a hit game I can't really compare with anymore. I would call that a phenomenon or something. Good for the devs, great job. Vampire Survivors, another one. Witchy Life Story is not worth looking at because it's going to skew my data because it's not in my genre. Golden Reaper Minions, I'm keeping Brotato, although it is one of my main comparable games. I'm going to remove it because it's just too much of a hit game. I don't want that to skew my data. Crimson Land, lifetime revenue of $3 million, and it's a 3D game. I'm going to remove that. Soulstone Survivors, another 3D game that's way outside of the polish level that I can hit. Let's move that down here. Nova Drift. I mean, anything over $1 million I start to look at as like, I don't know if I could ever hit that, at least with Witchmore. So let's not even pretend. Okay, I'm also going to remove the games that are either free or not yet released because I don't have any good data to extract from them. Okay, so what we're left with is 66 games that are pretty comparable to Witchmore-ish when looking at genre. And I'm going to draw a line right here. I'm not going to look at the games below that line. Now, here we have our averages. So I don't want to look at 99 anymore. I want to look up until 68. Based on this small, flawed sample that I have, these developers on average have released 4.67 games on Steam. Now, just eyeballing it, it looks like most developers have shipped maybe more like 1 to 2. Let's see if my chart is helpful here. No, I might add that in a minute. There's also this one game, Zombies Invasion. Is that right? 138 games, or is that a typo? That would certainly make a difference. 129 games. That's still quite a few, but it's less than 138. Took the games average down to 4.5. Let's just remove that one. 2.62. So with that one, that's kind of an anomaly there. What is this game? Is this worth $24.99? Okay, I'm going to remove zombies invasion from this list entirely. And my numbers should still work because when it gets to 68, it's just ignoring the lack of data there. So with the number like 2.62, what you can do is you can say like, if this is my first game on Steam, then you would have a factor multiplier of 1, right? And for a lot of these sales of these games that we're looking at, you could imagine they have a sales factor of 2.62 because they already have an audience. And nothing is that simple. It's just a number that gives us a rough guess of stuff, right? Next, we can look at the art style, and what we could do is add like a modifier, right? We could say, you know, only factor any of these games that are outside of the art style of my game. So any 3D game, I could say, give it a factor of 0.5 or something, and only factor the data in that much. We're not gonna do anything fancy like that today. The price at $3.87 sounds about right. I would imagine most of these games land in that $3 to $5 Vampire Survivors sweet spot. So then we have an average of about 500 reviews, which puts the new box leader number at about $35,000 of revenue. And I forget the exact math. Maybe I can look at this. Right. So you take the box leader and multiply by 1 divided by 0.2, and that gets you your very rough, very wrong lifetime revenue estimate. But this is encouraging because if Witchmore in a year or two can make $170,000, then it can pay for its development, which we're going to figure out here in a minute because we're now going to estimate the cost of Witchmore. So this is a hard one because I had been kind of tinkering with my Unity code base for months, maybe even years. I made this game jam game called Witchy for practice. I made a code base called Builder that enabled me to build a little game called The Expansion, and then I turned that game into Witchmore. So it's hard to estimate how long I've been working on it, but I felt like it was fair to say about 3 months full time. Not really 1 week had I even spent full time on Witchmore up until very recently. So all the work to get something playable up and to get something I could use to make a trailer and a Steam page, I'm just gonna hand-wavily say that was about 3 months. Basically, there was 3 months of initial development, 3 months from then up until Steam Next Fest in June, which Witchmore will be part of. And then 3 months after that, I'm thinking will probably be about time to launch. So 3 months, 3 months, 3 months puts us at 9 months. And I'll probably keep supporting the game for months after it launches as well. So I think a year, maybe even as long as 2 years, could be the development cycle when it's all said and done. But I think for now, to get to a launch where it's on Steam for sale, I think it's gonna be 9 months of full-time dev. So what we can do is take the industry standard of about $10,000 per developer per month, and we can apply that to the cost of the game. And that number can go up, it can go down, it's all relative and different for everybody, has to do with your cost of living, where you are in the world, lots of variables. But for me, I think we can make a very hand-wavy guess and say that Witchmore is going to cost about $90,000 to develop. As far as its lifetime revenue goes, with an estimate of $177.28 from our very rough, very incorrect spreadsheet here, 170 of revenue minus 90 of cost leaves us with 80K in profit. So there you have it. The numbers look like they could be okay, and from just some rough analysis, it looks like I kind of am on the right track. But there are some big factors to consider. I think a big one is Steam player fatigue. If Witchmore were coming out next month, I would have a lot more confidence in these numbers, but it won't be coming out, see, Steam Next Fest in 2 months, and then maybe 3 months after that. I'm not promising any dates yet, but that's a rough guess for when it'll be launching currently. And by then, there probably will be more fatigue for this particular genre. So it's going to be part of my job as the developer designer to kind of make sure the game is unique and can really stand out from the crowd. Coming soon to a new video is the struggle between making the game you're passionate about and making the game that you think will make you money. How do you decide which way to go? We'll find out in a future episode. In the meantime, be sure to subscribe and like, and wishlist Witchmore on Steam. Thanks for watching, everybody. This was a long one. I think it's time for some thumbnail shots. You know, you got to have something where. Wait, what does Mr. Beast do? Wait, Or what about one of the wait, you gotta one of the okay, wait, point at Rob the robot. Can I wait? What do you think? Is this working? Oh, one of these? What about? Surprise? How about what about like shock? There you go. That's the money. One of those has to work. If not,